Okay, so moving on, our next speaker is Mr. Zafar Imran. He's lead principal digital transformation at Oracle UAE. His topic is about resilience and sustainability with agile logistics. So I will invite Mr. Zafar Imran to please share his screen and share his thoughts about digital transformation.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Yasser, and welcome everyone to this session in the Future World Forum 2020. My name is Zafar. I'm based out of Dubai, working with Oracle for last 13 years now. So I have been helping large corporations, enterprise customers, and governments in supporting their supply chain management related solutions. Today, I will be just taking you through a very interesting topic. And actually, this topic is very, very relevant with the current COVID-19 situation. As you know, the world is not as before. So it's a new normal. We have been seeing this since morning that all of the our learned colleagues, they have been explaining the different types of challenges and different types of issues which are happening. We have not seen so many airplanes grounded on the airports. We have not seen so many blank seats in the conferences. We have not seen so much drop in the air traffic as per IATA, and there is a drastic exponential drop that we have seen, and we have also not seen the most growing industries falling down. Like for example, as per a study, most of the eating out places, the business trips, the domestic travels, and also all sort of outbound travel from different countries have been drastically reduced. And these are the top four industries which are hit very badly. They were on the growth, and now they are on the decline. We hope that this situation is over quickly. But what I have suggested this topic due to certain one reason, that logistics is one such industry which is anticipated to be the largest industry by 2025 and crossing 16 trillion as of size. So this was studied by the Gartner, and this is amazing to see that how logistics can have an impact on our daily lives, especially in this COVID-19. We need groceries, we need equipment, we need medical supplies, we need to have our warehouses full up and running in this COVID time. And as you have seen in the graph, that the online shopping business and online ordering process has grown in this COVID time, and people are now more comfortable in ordering online. Now, this ordering online has put lots of pressure and challenges on the supply chains. So the world is now different. So before COVID time, there was a conscious effort to automate, to add more value into our lives, and we have seen throughout this day that how governments are helping, or they are devising different types of services using the right kind of technology. In the autonomous cars, the drones are supplying coffee and medicines to the users. We have the online education all across. The weather is more artificial intelligence based, so we have much more accurate and new predictions which we have not seen them before. We have also seen the expectations of the users are also, and the citizens are also changing. The more technology you give to the users, you give to these citizens, the expectations grow. So that is the human nature. And you must have seen all these efforts which are being done are basically the human instinct to survive. So wherever there is an epidemic, there is any kind of disaster, humans have the tendency to react for the survival. So I believe that because of these events due to climate change, and due to these viruses, uh, the, the, the human beings are changing drastically. So that means the expectations are changing. So when expectations are changing, then the technology providers, the people who are behind the technologies, they have a very big responsibility, because the bar of the expectation of the citizens and people is increasing. It's not that before. So when we especially talk about the supply chain, resilience is one word which is very, very commonly used these days. But actually, what it is, resilience means that we should survive eventually. So there needs to be new rules which were not there before if you want to be resilient. So when we talk about the resilience, it's in multiple areas, and especially in the supply chain area, we need to have the operational resiliency, right? So our all operations should be such robust that online businesses today rely heavily upon internet, for example. So this internet continuity has to be there. So if we want to be continually doing the operation side, the scenario planning is another area which is gaining momentum, because now there are lots of new tools, new technologies which are coming, and people are looking for the tools which have scenario planning built into the solutions. So if, for example, if I want to travel to a certain country, I have certain scenarios I need to put in the scenario, and system should be able to give me a right kind of track. Like in the case of Google Flights, for example, so you go to the Google Flights and they gives you lots of options which were not there before. The agile manufacturing is another area which you have seen that between China and US, this whole trade war which is going on, the whole manufacturing industry was outsourced to China, and China has used this opportunity beautifully. And this agility, if it were not there, we are sure that we should have been shortage of the goods all across US and all across other parts of the world as well. So China is an important factor, no doubt about it. But the agility in manufacturing means you should have the capability to decide or to define multiple multiple business models. And these business models should enable you to decide on different situations, whether you need to produce yourself, whether you need to outsource. So technology is also helping in this area. Flexible sourcing is another area where we have seen incredibly the marketplaces are growing. Now, people in the enterprise sector or even in the consumer markets, they want to see more options. More omni channels are open. Now we can order through WhatsApp. We can order through any of the tools that we have, and this sourcing flexibility is a growing demand. So basically, these are the new rules which we need to set up, and actually the expectation will grow in this area. Real-time visibility is another big area where the people want to see that where is my item. I've ordered something and where it is. Today we order food, and we just click one button and we can see that where is uh, our carrier, for example, or our delivery guy, and he's reaching and all those things. Likewise for B2B, the large corporations who are ordering, and the ships are coming through ocean or air, or airplanes are coming through air cargo. The enterprises need the visibility of their goods. So whether it is B2B or B2C, the real-time visibility will become more and more needed in coming time. Another emerging trend that we have seen, or new rules uh, to make the supply chains resilient, is the product as a service. We have seen over the period of time, for example, in last GITEX in Dubai, we have seen HP, Hewlett Packard, they manufacture printers. So these printers are now being sold as a service. So if you need 10 printers, they can just give you these printers, and they will not charge you upfront. They will just give you kind of a pay as you go kind of a model. And that is a win-win situation, because there is a never-ending revenue for HP or such manufacturers, and there is no burden on the corporates as well, because they have come from capex to opex. So product as a service is another growing thing. The innovation is the key, of course, which is another trend. And we have seen throughout this day as well that all my colleagues, they have been explaining innovation, as the benchmark, as the key to the success, basically. So it is also understandable that those companies who have the ability to innovate their products faster, they are gonna be leading the market in coming time. So the cycles of the products are shortening, the time to market is shortening, and there's a need for ideas to come forward, and not only they should remain at the ideation stage, but they should go till the product and the commercialization stage. So companies who are more innovative, they are gonna survive in a better way. So these are some of the topics or some of the areas which require to be implemented before a supply chain can be resilient. Now, in the past, even before COVID time, what we have seen cost efficiencies. So we have seen that uh, uh, the whole idea of outsourcing trade manufacturing from US to China was cost efficiency because of economy of scale. But it is not enough now, because now the SLA is also very important. So the agility, the responsive agility is also very, very important. So that means only the cost is not the factor, but also the capability to have multiple business models is also very important. In the past, everything was supply driven. So if somebody makes a product, there was a demand, and this product has to be sold. Like in the case of consumer goods, like sugar, wheat, flour, all these were highly supply driven, but now they are consumer driven, because consumers have now much more options, because technology has enabled manufacturers to create much more things, much more options for the consumer. You go to a grocery store today, you can find 20 types of milk, for example. It was not there 20 years back or even 15 years back. This sort of options were not there. Then the continuous relationship between the all the parties in the supply chain, like we have the suppliers, we have the manufacturers, we have the logistics service providers, and also we have the customers. So a continuous relationship has to be there. So we have seen in the case of Amazon and multiple other vendors, they have these marketplaces, and they are building a continuous relationship between these parties. Now, in the past, we used to have very stable trade agreements. We used to have free trade agreements. But now there's a trade war. So we are sitting right in between the trade war, and there are expectation of major disruptions, like for example in the case of 5G. So Huawei, for example, having a tough time in US, and likewise many other things, like in the case of Brexit, UK is going away from Europe. So what will happen to the trade agreements? What will happen to the free trade which was happening? So these trade wars are actually putting more challenges. So the world is really changed what we see. In the past, there were standalone legacy systems, and now we're talking about intelligent automation. So there was a time when there was MRP, MRP2, and very old systems. Even I would say enterprise resource planning, ERP as a terminology is very old terminology. But now people are demanding, even in the consumer area and also in the enterprise area, they are demanding more intelligent systems, the systems who can decide on their own. And most of the work is done by the system, by the devices, and the human beings or the users should be just monitoring them and act on the basis of the exceptions only. So those businesses, those corporations, those companies, and even the public sector, where they run everything on the basis of exceptions, they would be more successful in coming time, because they will have more time to think, and most of the automation is taken up by the machines or by the artificial intelligence. So we are seeing this change. So we are sure that this disruption and uncertainty has to happen, and the old legacy systems cannot adopt to this. So that it's a reality. It is becoming reality. Most of the vendors we have seen in the past, like I will give you example of Kodak. There are lots of other vendors who have just wiped out from the surface of the earth, but because they were not able to change themselves, they were not able to outpace this change, because expectations were growing. People wanted new systems, people wanted new look and feel. Look at Nokia, for example. The Nokia phones, which were very, very popular 10 years back, or even 7, 8 years back, they are now struggling. And the new vendors, they have taken their place because of fulfilling the expectations of the changing environment that we are facing. So the on-premise systems, they were very costly. Uh, Large corporations, for example, a sugar manufacturer, they might have 20 plants, and they have an army of IT resources. They have data centers of their own. So their core business is sugar. Their core business is not IT, but still they are. So the on-premise cost has grown so big. Now with the advent of internet, and with the growth in the internet speed, and in the facility that we have now, this has enabled us to move away from on-premise and upgrade to the data centers and to the cloud. And this cloud thing has really changed. It's a really game changer with perspective to adopting the change. Likewise, the lack of business agility. So that is another issue that is there, and the old systems cannot handle it, because now there needs to be more business models in place, like product as a service. Like 10 years back, HP could not have thought about it, that there should be something called product as a service. So, but now it is a reality, and they are being very successful in many areas. So business agility is another area that is there. So then we have, I was talking about the partner collaboration. I was talking about the cross-functional approach. So in an organization, every department, like for example, if we take the example of supply chain or even logistics. So as a logistics operation within an organization, for example, one organization has 10 manufacturing plants. Every plant has their own transportation department. They don't talk to each other. They have different types of systems, different types of resources. And when at the corporate level somebody wants to see or make the things more visible, it's a nightmare, because there might be 10 different systems which are working and they don't talk to each other. So then it's a very lengthy and laborious task to build the cross-functional and cross organization synergies in one go. Of course, total cost of ownership has grown very big, and this has done due to people are dumping technology. People are procuring technology, and just they are putting their servers maybe in the storerooms rather than in the actual data centers, and due to which the cost has gone very, very high. Softwares were being licensed very heavily before, as we all know, and these licenses were to be upgraded on a yearly basis. Now we have the cloud, and the cloud solutions are very, very easy because they are OPEX now, and you can do monthly subscription for even for a tier one solution right now. So these are the factors which required to be changed. So those companies who will outpace this change, they are going to survive and grow in the coming time. Logistics as one operation in any of the large company, even in the public sector, is very, very big, because the effect on the business is huge. So there was a time when the core uh, changes in the core technology, they used to disrupt the services, and there used to be 68% expect more changes in transportation within the next 5 years. So it is a very interesting survey by PwC, and it is depicting nothing but the impact of the change and the disruptions in logistics, which will affect the businesses really. Today, if Carrefour does not have a robust supply chain, there will be empty racks, and you can imagine the consumers will be suffering due to that. But it is actually not happening. So that means there is some resilient supply chain which is happening. So these are some of the interesting statistics. Likewise, the behavior of the consumer is also changing. There are lots of omni channels which are causing companies to adopt the technologies which can support omni channel. So the customer can come from a chat channel, it can come from a phone call, it can come from an email, it can come from any online store. So they can simply go in online store and order. So the expectations are very different now. And due to these expectations, the responsiveness of the warehouses, that needs to be improved. They should be very efficient. We have seen lots of robotics coming in the warehouse industries, and we have seen fully automated warehouses, which without any human beings. So there was a time when there will be 700 people working in a warehouse, and we've seen that now robots have taken their place. They are much more efficient, and they are uh, much more effective. So what human beings are doing, what those people were doing, so they are helping robots. They are training these robots, and they are making these robots more intelligent, so that they can do much faster work that has been done. Now the intelligence transfer is happening in a big way. Ethical AI, we all talk about it. Of course, the human beings are transferring information to the AI, to the machines, but there is definitely some level to it. There is some control has to have. So we are hearing from United Nations and multiple other organizations that there are certain rules, certain protocols which are under production, and we hope that in the near future there should be a limit to the information which is being passed on to the AI, so that they should not be kind of a valid, self-aware kind of stuff. So we don't want that stage to come, that they should go that level. That should be good for us. That should not be bad for us. That's the whole idea behind it. So these are some of the parameters. Now, e-commerce is here to stay. We have seen over the period of even before COVID that e-commerce was growing, but the figures are enormous right now. So it's a total $22 trillion market of e-commerce by the UNCTAD survey, and the value of global retail e-customer sales by 2021 is $4.5 trillion. It's huge. And it is by the statistica.com. And total number of packages delivered by just these three companies, the USPS, UPS, and FedEx, in a year are 12 billion. And in fact, it is growing. So that means there should be agile logistics at the back end who can support this e-commerce. Otherwise, there will be bottlenecks, and these industries will fall. And you can imagine in such situation when there's a COVID, and God forbid if something more happens, and so we will be more dependent upon the e-commerce because we'll be ordering online. And if there are disruptions in the supplies, it can be very drastic situation that can come in. So likewise, when we are going to help e-commerce more, we are going to be investing more on technology and business processes. But the most important thing is that orchestration of these operations are very important. Today, when we talk about logistics, especially, so there are three main pillars of logistics when we talk about the transportation part of it, the warehousing part of it, and the trade management, which are the rule sets or the compliance. These three are the core components of a logistics. So these all should talk to each other. So the solutions, the technology should help uh, companies to have these three systems in place, and they should be very well orchestrated. So as per a survey also, uh, 4.5% losses in revenue when processes, technologies, and corporate structures are not fully synchronized. And there's another survey that 30 to 50% increase in spend when buyers have more than a single channel, right? So that means we are expecting more spending in coming time with what we're doing. So that's why we need much robust business processes. We should be very much integrated with each other. So that means that the resilient supply chain is the one that does not need firefighters. Today, we are seeing in many sectors, especially in the supply chain area, that there is firefighting happening because of poor orchestration of the business processes, because of the poor understanding of the businesses, poor understanding of the expectation of the external customers and also the internal customers. So there are many factors actually to that to count, but it does not need a firefighter because it should go very smooth. If it is not smooth, then it cannot be resilient. So, what are the today's challenges? I have just talked about in very general case, but in the logistics area, when we talk about specifically, so we're talking about two parties here. One are the shippers, like the manufacturers who manufacture, and then they need logistics services to transport their goods. So these are the shippers. Second are the logistics service providers, who are the transporters who are transporting these logistics. So when we talk about the LSPs or logistics service providers. So those can be freight forwarders, those can be ocean carriers, those can be air carriers, those can be even road transporters, and those can be rail transporters as well. Now, when we talk about the logistics channel, as I was talking, three main pillars: the transportation, warehouse, and the trade management. It should work hand in hand. The expanding demand of the consumers, expanding demand of the enterprise buyers, the procurement departments, the buying houses, that is growing, and the fulfillment channels are increasing as well. So that means one needs to be ready and able to capture and fulfill orders anywhere, anytime, to improve the service levels, improve the fulfillment process. So this is the first challenge that needs to be made. Second thing is the time to market pressure and globalization. As we are talking about the shrinking product life cycles, so there should be more product introductions. There should be more innovation which is happening, and the time to market is squeezing. There was a time when there was 6 months in a fizzy drink to go to a market, but these days it has come to weeks, and maybe in coming time we will see in days that the competition is so fierce that you need to have your products in least possible time. Then, of course, the global shipments, they should meet the compliance rules. As we know, it's a trade war. So there are lots of sanctions, there are lots of tariffs, there are lots of hindrances, lots of licensing is being put in. So the supply chain should be able, the logistics should be able to make use of the global trade rules, and the compliance should be there. So there is more responsibility on the logistics solutions to be more compliant, or to provide the right kind of tools to the users so that they can decide on the compliance better. So we can expect that if the spending is getting more, the logistics spend is also will be getting more. When the logistics spend getting more, so that means there may be more sanctions, there will be more disruptions. So that means there will be no more fines, penalties. We need to take care of all this globalization era. Then customer service, of course, this is very important. The supply chain responsiveness is the key, and the customers are expecting much more than before. Now, to fulfill this economy, it requires a very unified logistics solution. And what unification means visibility, optimization, and orchestration. So I already talked a little on that, but these three major parameters, these three major factors have to be there in the logistics solutions if they want to go and build a resilient and sustainable supply chain, or through this logistics operation. Now, as I was talking about different components, so this unification is the key. But there are few things which have been added up in this whole cycle. So when we talk about the global trade management, so we have different types of agencies globally who are working and keeping this data about the denied parties, about embargoes, about different types of countries which are prohibited for certain types of goods, right? So these should be taken care of in the form of business rules in the solution. Second is the transportation management. As I was talking, it should be able to unify the data among all platforms, like it should be rail, road, ocean, or air. Uh, it should unify the data. So that is another very key requirement. The Internet of Things have given us some ability, especially in the fleet monitoring area, that we can put these gadgets on the trucks. And as we speak, uh, we are seeing the results that in Europe, in the Western European part, and the North America, more than half of the vehicles are being targeted to be converted into fully autonomous and IoT driven in the next 4 to 5 years, which is very big target, which is happening. But the solution or the logistics system should be able to get these feeds from these IoTs and have their monitoring systems in place so that they can optimize and orchestrate accordingly. Warehouses are being automated, warehouses are being upgraded a lot. So the technology, logistics technology should be able to talk to these new upgrades and all these new intelligent systems which are being produced. They should all talk to each other in a very unified way. If they are in silos, the logistics or the supply chain cannot be resilient in that case, and they cannot sustain for a longer period of time. At Oracle, we have invested huge towards our solutions, and our logistics cloud solution, we are proud to say, is one of the leading solutions that we have. Uh, we have maximum number of users across the globe, and it is a fully 100% cloud-based solution, and it covers almost all the spectrum of the logistics, right, starting from the planning, execution, and settlement, in just in just three simplified steps. So you can plan your orders. The orders can come from any source, and you can plan. So we have seen customers who have 20,000 orders in a day, for example. You can simply push them into the system, and system is so scalable. So in minutes, the engine the back end engine, the order processing engine, can transform the orders into shipments. And with the shipments, those can be tendered out to the transporters. Transporters can bid for that, and they can get the order, and then the goods are executed. During the execution cycle, the IoT fleet monitoring is there. So that means if the IoTs are installed, the system has the full capability to analyze, to monitor real time. We have huge investment in the machine learning, and these machine learning algorithms are the proprietary algorithms where we are using state of the art uh, data. So we have huge train data that is there, and this data enables the decision making of the models faster, and then the predictions come very fast. The same order, it flows. So the execution goes into the warehouse. At warehouse, it might be a pick packing process in place in the warehouse management system, and from warehouse management system, it might move out to the to the ocean leg. So a carrier, ocean carrier, can pick these goods. They can deliver to the next port, and from that port, it goes back to the customer. And this whole cycle has the payment system enabled with this. So that means the whole logistics business intelligence is there, and it can give the best KPIs available, or the common practice, or you can say the best practice available in the industry. So this solution covers not only the forward logistics but also the reverse logistics as well, like recalls in the automobile manufacturers. So that can be run automatically by the system as well. So if a shipper, a manufacturer is using this system, they can reduce the cost. If an LSP, the logistics service provider, is using the same solution, they can increase their revenue with mitigating the supply chain risks. So as per the surveys, there is a huge advantages which our customers, global customers, are using. So we have more than 4,000 plus customers available today who are using the same cloud-based solution. We have seen 40% reduction in our order cycle time. The out of stocks things have been reduced a lot. Transportation costs, 64% reduction we have seen in many cases, and 15% reduction in freight spend is a huge amount in that case. So we've seen benefits uh, not only within the logistics domain but also the allied functions like inventories, like production. They have improved drastically, and these are the figures which are coming from our customers. On the Internet of Things, we have these 5 applications in place. So we have asset monitoring, production monitoring, fleet monitoring, connected worker, service monitoring. They are all fully enabled. Thousands of customers are using them globally, and and these are fully integrated with the unified model that I was talking about in the overall logistics cycle in it. So these brings lots of benefits to the fleet, for example. So if we're talking about the road utilization gets improved, productivity is improved, idle times reduces. There are lots of fuel saving which happens, and the maintenance cost is also there. And poor driving is one very big issue. We have seen some of the colleagues, they were talking about the some kind of uh, the camera feed based control. So this solution also observes the driver behaviors. So we also have the motion sensors and different types of techniques available, and we've seen 80% reduction in the aggressive driving. And there are less accidents due to that. So this is one of the screenshot that I'm showing you. So it is showing a real time visibility of a certain trip, and you can see that the trucks are moving across multiple islands, and the control room is getting the feed, and this is all connected fleet. We also have the capability for digital twin. So that means through AI modeling, if the maintenance has to happen, so we have the so there are different applications. You can just have them downloaded on iPads, and through digital twins you can see if engine is heating up or if the refrigerated equipment is not producing the right temperature. So you can view that. You can also get alerts from in the control room, and then you can respond accordingly. So not only we do the real-time monitoring, but also the predictions for a certain failure in a certain fleet can also be recognized well before time. So this is another screenshot of the system that we have. So between the Oracle Transportation Management and the IoT fleet monitoring, how it is integrated together, all the shipments get monitored. Logistics network modeling is another state-of-the-art tool that we have, and this can really help logistics solutions and logistic operations and the supply chain operations to simulate different types of scenarios. As I was talking, scenario simulation is one of the key enabler to have a resilient supply chain and logistics operation. And this simulation, you can have your historical data. Just put this historical data in the system, and system will suggest you what can be the best route, what can be the best carrier for you, who can be the best freight router for you, and what can be the best cost to you, so that you can decide before making a decision to hire any third-party logistics service provider. Yard management is another big area where all these beautiful warehouses that we have, they have internal space within the warehouse and they have external space. So external spaces are generally treated as the yard, we call them. And if the IoTs are installed there, so we have the solutions fully capable for this geofencing. All the trucks which are coming in and out from a certain locations, they are monitored. All the goods which are being filled in, they are also monitored, and drivers are notified about the dog assignment. You might have seen that the all the malls, for example, they have a very specific time when you can enter into the mall for delivery. So maybe at 9 at night till 12, only 3 hour window is there to supply your goods to malls. So this system makes sure that your trucks are not standing outside the mall longer than that. Otherwise, municipality and other people can find that. These fines are growing everywhere, by the way. So this tool enables very fast turnaround of the yard utilization. But all movement in the yard is pictorially monitored. So it's a plan view from the top, and from the real time trailer location is coming from in the parking lot, and then they are allocated through the notifications that which dock door is open for you, and you need to go, and you have like 10 or 15 minutes to respond. So this way you can make this yard management very, very efficient and very, very intelligent. Chatbots are built-in functionality. We have invested huge in chatbots, and we named it Digital Assistant for Logistics. So about 80 to 90% of operation you can do through chatbots. So we are fully enabled for all sort of chat channels today, whether it's Messenger, it's WhatsApp, or it can be any of the any of the local solution that we have. So we have the capability to integrate with the chat channels and the systems through REST APIs. They fulfill all sort of chat that we have. So we run complete logistics solution on the chat. The blockchain is the last thing. So we also have invested huge in blockchain. Our intelligent track and trace tool is fully enabled. Hundreds of customers are using it. It is meant for the logistics industry to track and trace uh, uh, seamlessly. No need to invest in any blockchain infrastructure. Everything comes up and running on the Hyperledger. And for the lot lineage, for example, and provenance, also for the manufacturing, for the lot traceability, for the cold chains, and the warranty and usage tracking. These four applications are there, fully enabled with blockchain framework, and also fully integrated with the back office ERP solutions, and also the Internet of Things and CX systems is all there. So we have been named as the top card in the top slot in the Gartner quadrant, and I'm proud to say that since 2008, I am introducing this solution as a trusted advisor to multiple organizations and governments. And I've not seen in a single year that we are anywhere down or in any other quadrant than leaders quadrant. So we have been in the leaders quadrant for last 13 years now, and still we are maintaining. This is the latest study, latest analysis that we have, and we are still at the top there. So that ends my presentation. This is my contact details. My Twitter handle is also there. You can find more information through our website as well, and you can always contact me on this particular mobile number or email. Thank you so much for your time. And if there is any question, I'm open to answer those questions.
Thank you, Mr. Zafar. It was a great presentation. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask, or you can type in the chat window as well. So one quick question, how this pandemic, overall has changed all, I know you have explained things, but what do you think are the emerging trends for supply chain due to this pandemic?
Yeah, so as I was talking, the most of the online channels for the demand has grown. So that means there is more online shopping which is happening. So which required the more agility in the logistics area. Like for example, we have seen new services which are emerging, and like for example, we've seen lots of new services which are coming. So I see agility is one which should be there to handle the COVID-19, because now there are more unique types of business models which are required to be adopted to, so that the consumers are getting their products all the time, and the industries are also getting their items on time. This is one area. And second is the collaboration. So I feel that the collaboration between different parties are required much more than before, because of the disruptions which are happening. There needs to be very smooth and very robust channels available, fully integrated with the marketplaces, fully integrated with the fulfillment services, so that the people are getting what they need at the end of the logistics. And third is the, of course, is the spend. So the control on spend is the key for the survival in the COVID-19, because those companies who are opting for growth before COVID, I've seen majority of them, they have revisited their strategy, and now they are not on the growth path, they are on the spend control part, because now survival is the key. Whoever will survive more in the industry, he's gonna sustain. Otherwise he's gonna collapse. So I think these three are the key things which are needed in the COVID-19 with respect to logistics.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? So there is a question from Mr. Isam. How far autonomous delivery is taking up?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. As we speak, the Ottoman, so there was a joint venture between Otto and MAN, OWTO, and the Italians and the MAN MAN. So this Ottoman trucks, as we speak, about 5,000 plus trucks in Europe are running through Oracle Transportation Management System using the autonomous vehicles. So they are all driverless. This is one. Second, the next wave of Tesla autonomous vehicles. So we are very closely working with Tesla uh, to to embed our solutions to build in our to give them built-in solutions for the autonomous vehicle. So this autonomous vehicle trend is very much there. And interestingly, the accident levels or accident frequencies are pretty much controlled because thanks to this technology, and especially 5G and 6G, especially my telecom colleagues can comment much better than that. That we have now the capability to connect the cars, the trucks. So if there are certain blind spots, so the autonomous vehicles they can talk to each other, they can sense each other, and then they can respond accordingly. So yes, definitely autonomous vehicle trend, not only in the consumer space but also in the logistics industry is very much there. Ottoman is one success story that we have, and we have also four states in US where also the trial versions of the trucks are underway. So this thing is growing for sure.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions from the audience? Please feel free to unmute your microphone if you have any questions, or you can type in the chat window. Okay, so if there are no questions, so thank you very much, Mr. Zafar Imran. It was a great presentation, and thanks for your precious time to share your thoughts with us, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yasir, and thank you so much for the audience and nice questions. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.